Hey guys, it's Triple Laird here and welcome back to Nimera Talk. Now this week we are going to talk about virtual cards and whether they are coming to our platform. As well, we're going to be looking into some amazing volume we had on the swap, website improvements, and of course, giving away $25 worth of EON. So let's not delay anymore and let's get started. So the front end website team at Nimera has been doing some great little updates and tweaks to the site this week, and I do want to showcase them a little bit. So let's dive in and take a look. Now let's take a look at what is new on the site. If you guys remember, we had before on the Exchange tab, it was just a preview of the swap, and now we have this trade on multiple platforms from one interface. So obviously this is showing off the multi-broker features. As we scroll down, what we can see here is an example trade tab. I love that everything has been replaced here with just Nimera. There's no lingering Escudo logos in there. And it shows the Binance there with a couple of pairs. Now, we don't have those yet, but hopefully soon. And even we can see here we have an EON pair on Binance. So that's great. And as we scroll down here, we're going to see some of the normal marketing that we've been using this. One account for the entire market, yield farming and swapping with the swap features, and then also a great API and a whole bunch of other fun features. Now, arbitrage is a massive benefit when it comes to the idea of multi-broker, as we know. And then it just has a link to our Discord channels. So that's looking good there. Let's see if there's any change on the channels one. So it's got the download links there for Android and Apple iOS, and a couple of previews of how the setups go and all of the different features there. Nice colors, that looks good. The crypto acquiring one this is obviously for business use and tracking and everything like that. I'm excited to see where this goes with Nion 2.0, and then the blockchain talking about the new 2.0 blockchain. So this is pretty much the preview that we have so far of this, but much more is going to come out, I am sure, with the roadmap. Now, I do actually really enjoy the look and feel of that, and the more of that starts to make its way over to the exchange, I believe, the better. So it's time this week to look at the second question that we asked the Nimera CEO, Andrew Zamin, during the AMA, and kind of break down his answer to see what it was all about. So the question was, there has been talk of virtual cards and services. Will Nimera also provide physical debit cards for those that want them? Okay, so there's two parts to this answer that Andrew gave us. One part describes kind of the company structure that's going to happen around this, and the next part addresses the actual idea of physical cards themselves. So I'm going to go through this and we'll talk about it. So he says, so Nimera and Escudo is not really a full rebranding in the common sense. Nimera is a step towards decentralization, not in favor of the whole DeFi buzz. They're trying to solve major concerns that he agrees with, like KYC issues. So Nimera is the part of the company moving towards decentralization, while Escudo remains the gate between old and new finance. Therefore, when the cards are released, they'll be called Escudo cards, because you know that Escudo is the actual license company in Estonia with that banking license. We are working on virtual cards and not setting up the goal of issuing physical cards, and this is why he wants to explain the difference. From the perspective of a bank that issues a card, there is no difference whether the card is virtual or physical. What's important is the network protocol that connects the card with the ATMs and the terminals and the partners that work with it. NFC, like tap to pay coverage and such like that. From a security point of view, the AML policies, governance, and all of these certain procedures focus around the bank's and government's interest is around physical cards. There is a difference. He explains that we are guided by investors but have a better understanding of our logic. In our opinion, the average user of the Escudo card is a crypto enthusiast, a person who has interest in cryptocurrencies, technology, and blockchains, and he or she earns a certain amounts of cash and spheres and pays for their expenses in crypto. This means that he or she sold BTC at EON and received fiat in their account and paid for the purchases using the card. Okay, this is it makes sense. Usually, an average user spends less than $11,000, which lies in the current paradigm of banking and will not cause any additional questions and concerns. So basically, when we have people that start to use these cards for massive amounts of large transactions, then that raises a lot of eyebrows in the banking sector, and there's a lot more rules that are required, but the average user is not going to use that really in a yearly basis or even a monthly basis. Such an amount can easily be covered by virtual card standards. We do not consider issuing physical cards right now, but prospectively, if there is enough interest in physical cards, we may add this option. But there's going to be a little bit of a technical difference between the two of them. And really, what we want to take from this, guys, is that it's much easier in the current structure that we have to issue virtual cards. And for me personally on iOS, and I'm sure for Android users with wallets, I have my credit card in my phone, so I just tap to pay. This is the common way in North America that we pay, and I'm sure in Europe as well. Now, physical cards are great. Some people are going to want them for sure, but I think they're going the right direction to get a card issued that can be digital to begin with, and then if the pressure persists and it makes the most sense to have physical cards, then that becomes an option as well. Now, before we dive into the Nimera Exchange market news, we have to look at the health check as well. So luckily, everything is good across the board right now. There was some planned maintenance that did occur on the 4th. Now, if you want to know when this planned maintenance is going to happen, just head over to the Discord page and go onto the announcements tab, and you can see they post everything that's coming up for the exchange itself. So moving on, what we're going to do is we're going to start with the swap, I believe, and then we'll go and check out the exchange itself. Now we'll start out here this week looking at the swap. So what we have here now is these great tools that we can use to track everything happening with these really excellent and clean metrics. It does really help out to really see what is happening. So during the last week, we had some good volume here, just shy of 20,000 euros on the swap. So I would say that's a great success considering this just launched as a brand new product starting in December. Total liquidity across all the pairs on the swap so far is at, this is just on a weekly period as you guys can see here, is at just shy there of 87,000 euros. So excellent liquidity there for the amount of pairs we have. I think that there's some good support happening. Going down here, we can see that we have the fees paid. So of the people who now have their money locked into the swap who are providing that liquidity, they have earned 96 euros this week just in those trades. So that's really cool. And then we can look at some top tokens. So EON got a lot of action this week. We had, so if we go over to the volume here, we can see that on the 2nd of February, huge volume there, over 7,500 on that one day alone, and a total weekly volume of 12,600 euros for EON. Really, really cool to see that price action there. This is actually the second week in a row where it's been increasing steadily, but this is some of the best EON volume that we've had for any given week. Now, the price is down on the week at 0.0265 euros, and it did peak up during the week on here at 3.4 euro cents. Now, if we scroll down the page, we can see top pools here. We do have BC being the top liquidity pool at 35,000 euros there. Oh, sorry. And if we go down to even further, we can just see a live chart of all of the different swaps that are happening across all of the pairs. So that is a neat feature there, and a very, very strong week for the swap in general, both in liquidity and in volume. Now, jumping over to the main Nimera exchange here, we have up, what are we looking at here? We're looking at EON USDT. Now, you will see that it did jump like crazy during the week. So starting there around the 3rd, it started pushing to the 8-cent mark, and then it moved all the way up here. Yeah, we got up to 13.5 cents US for EON. Now, there has been this a little bit of an annoying bot that is trading really, really low, and it makes no sense whatsoever. And so that got pulled back there to 3.8 cents. But what I want to show you is that if you look at the next book order here, we're at 10 cents. And we're only talking about a couple $100 here, and boom, 13 cents. And a couple $100 more, 19.20. You guys can see how crazy fast the price of EON can increase drastically with the book being so thin and having the option of so much volatility on there. So quickly also looking over at the euro side, this was pretty interesting here. So it stayed pretty steady the whole week, but what I want to show you guys is the next jump up here is to the almost 7 euro cent level here. And then we talk about $1,000 later, and we are up to about 10 cents. Now, of course, there's 3,400 euros there, but then it jumps to 15, 20, 30, 31, 40. this is only thousands of dollars, and the price just can go bananas for sure. And if we dive over as well to look at the BTC pair here, we can see that we did achieve some really good highs here, getting up to the 240 level for Satoshis versus EON. And then, of course, it got bought down to one of these orders there to 43 on that pair. But the next one available is at 174, so almost 3 times that. Now, also the book here does raise very quickly. This is still a lot of money, but you can see that it does rise quickly. Not as fast as the fiat pairs, but again, I think we are going to see, if this kind of volume where we get, like, say, this week where we had 10,000 euros being traded to buy EON, if that kind of volume happens every single week going forward, or even a little bit of that, then we're definitely going to see some solid price movements if these books stay the same as they are now and they stay as thin as this. Now looking at the global cryptocurrency market news, well, there's nothing else to say but this. Okay, but no, seriously, pretty crazy stuff from Musk there, obviously influencing the Dogecoin market. Again, massive gains. We're talking like 300% in the last, almost 3 weeks, right? So we're talking 300% really gain there on the price. We're up to about 7 cents for a unit of Doge. Now, of course, there's a massive amount of hype behind this, and there's a seemingly unlimited supply of Doge, so we never really know if this is going to be a good idea to buy into these type of things, so invest at your own risk. BTC, strong gains, Ethereum as well, so we're almost 15% up on the 7-day margin for BTC. We had some dips there earlier today on Sunday, but there was a good recovery there as well. And Ethereum still holding very strong above 1,500 US. Link did have a big dip as well, but now it has recovered. So the overall cryptocurrency market is very strong and it has really consistent returns so far in the first 2 months of 2021. Okay, guys and girls, now that is it for this week. Now, of course, we are going to give away $25 Canadian worth of EON, soon to be NION, on the new blockchain when it does come out. So if this is your address above me, you have won $25 worth of EON, and I will be sending that to you later in the week. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. If you want to enter to the contest, you have to be a subscriber, and you just put your EON address that you want to enter in the comment section below. Thanks again, guys, and I will see you next week. For Nimera Talk, I'm Trevor Laird.